I'm down here at Work and Play with pretty much a lot of the board of Lookers PLC, who many of you may not know is a Manchester success story. So, wasn't it John Looker in 1908 that started this business? Could you tell us a bit about him?
Yeah, well, he started making bikes, not cars, believe it or not, because not many people made cars in those days. But when the car got invented, Fords, he started manufacturing Fords in Trafford. So yeah, a great history.
So that was in 1908, and he started a small bike shop and then manufacturing Ford. And now we're at 2016, and you're somewhere between, I mean, I'm not on the stock market, but $3 to $5 billion company. So pound company.
Pounds, yes,
Sorry,
yes.
more dollars.
Yeah.
So in 100 years, that's an incredible success story. What's made Lookers so successful?
It's just been an incredible run, particularly the last few years. It's grown exponentially. So I think next year we're going to turn over £5 billion. And that used to be about $8 billion until recently.
Now it's about the same.
It's about 6. So it's grown massively, and the biggest group in the UK now, which is a great accolade for a Manchester company.
I think a lot of people in Manchester don't realise just what an amazing success story this is. And you are head office here in Manchester.
Yeah, we're on Chester Road, where we've been for many, many years, 20, 30 years at least. So yeah, a lot more staff employed now, as you can imagine, but yeah, very much a Manchester-based business.
Manchester is quite a nice central base to travel to everywhere. So you're 2 hours from London, you're 2.5 hours from Newcastle. The transport links are very easy to get to Belfast or Glasgow or anywhere. So I mean, if you're going to have a national base, Manchester's actually not a bad place to start from.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, you're a national company with operations all across the country then. So do you feel that Manchester can play in that market, can compete with London, can compete with Birmingham? Do you think it's a place where you would bring clients and do business?
Absolutely. I think Manchester's an incredibly vibrant city. I think it's got such a lot of energy, a lot of variety, nice people. It's not too crowded like London can be sometimes.
Right.
I think it's a brilliant city, yeah.
And so I think just going back to Lookers then, so we've talked already about what an incredible success this is, but obviously the world has changed a little bit. I mean, I got my dollar and pounds wrong, so I apologise, but also, the Brexit vote. So it's just been in the news recently that, perhaps domestic sales have shown a little bit of sign of that. They dropped, I think it was 1% in October. So what's your plan, what's your strategy for making sure that Lookers continues on its route of success?
The same strategy we've always had. I mean, we haven't done anything different since Brexit. Our car sales have increased since Brexit. I know that new cars have dropped back 1%. Somebody described it the other day as a slump. I'm not sure 1% is a slump, but
it's quite small.
It's not a slump, it's the wrong word. So it's been pretty steady, and as I say, our sales have grown. So our strategy hasn't changed.
The other part of that is that, of course, new cars are only one part of what we do.
Yeah.
We sell used cars.
Yeah.
That whole market's very buoyant, and we hit the peak market, record market ever for used cars this year.
Did you?
And then the area that Gavin looks after has also been growing very fast after sales, servicing and parts.
Yeah, I think probably about 60% of our business's employees are relative to after sales. So you mentioned we started founding repairing bicycles. We clearly repair a lot more than bicycles now. But so yeah, big change over that time. So we've got a big propensity of the company repairing vehicles. So big part of what we do. And clearly we've got lots of workshops around around the Manchester area as well. So between approximately 500 people, I would say, are employed around Manchester area.
And that's a great employer for Manchester. So what I'm excited about though is I was looking at some of your details, and it seems that you're quite forward thinking as a company. Not quite forward thinking, very forward thinking. That's what's helped you stay on top. And I was very excited to see about the way you talk about customer experience as a differentiator between just the provision of cars or services.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, tech is one of probably 3 areas that we are investing very heavily in at the moment to develop the customer experience. So there's no doubt that the big debate is what proportion of customers are going to want to buy online. Our view is that actually nobody can predict it. It'll change over time. And a bit like John Lewis or Argos or Sports Direct, people want, it's a bit of a corporate word, but an omni-channel retail experience. They basically want to be able to do what they want in whichever way. So if they want to choose the car online, reserve it online, or even buy it online, then have it delivered to home, or go and collect it from the dealership, they don't want to start from scratch. So tech obviously plays a big part in that.
I could take you back to 2006. I believe you've been on the board for 4 years, and you're in this amazing time where there's acquisitions going aplenty.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into detail because it's all public record.
Yeah.
But you were on a board and there was a hostile takeover towards Lookers PLC.
It was, yeah.
What goes on in a boardroom, and what do you have to do around your team members to make sure that you get what you want, you fight it off? What did you learn personally, and what do you think it did to the business? Bear in mind, if I'm preempting the answer, it went from that period to an incredible period of growth. So what happened in 2006 individually, and what sort of experience does a hostile takeover do to a team?
I mean, it's uncomfortable to begin with, right? So that's the first thing you go, oh, I'd rather that wasn't happening. So what it did was it galvanised everybody. After you get over the initial, oh, I'd rather this wasn't happening, you sort of get the gloves on, you're like, come on then, and you put your best foot forward and you tell the story, you tell it well, and you tell it widely.
Do you think it made Lookers a better company coming out of that? Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. It forces you to look at the important things, to convey the message well, because it was an incredibly public and pretty bitter contest at the time, played out in all the national media. So it teaches you how to, as I say, put your best foot forward and make sure you project the right things. And pleased to say we fought it off.
And did you find that because it was such a big news story, and it would obviously impact all of you, did you find that it would affect your personal life, your business life? Were you able to switch off, or did it become all consuming? And how, as a director that went on to become CEO, how did you handle that sort of level of stress and challenge?
Wine. No, what it does is it teaches you resilience. It teaches you to, because you can't panic, you can't fall apart. You have to stay focused. Keep your shape is a term I use. So it makes you a more resilient person.
And you think the team came out stronger and better because of it?
I do think that. Yeah, I think it unites you under one purpose.
Yeah.
And that, as I say, that brings more cohesion and focus to the management team.
And you may not comment, but I may, that perhaps now we're in 2000, so we're 10 years on, and it may be that you're actually a bigger and more successful company than the companies that were trying to take you over. So over the 10-year period, it's played out really well for you guys.
Yes, well, in hindsight, that's how it's turned out, hasn't it? You know, the people that were trying to take us over, we've overtaken them to reverse the phrase, and you know, we've come out of it far better than they have.
So just in summary, then, post Brexit, Trump, changing globalisation, you're a very national business. You're selling to the domestic market. What's your outlook for Lookers over the next 6 to 12 months, maybe a bit longer?
To keep going, more of the same. I expect we'll acquire more businesses next year. We've got a great balance sheet. We need to spend some more money. We're not in enough debt at the moment. We're getting opportunities every single week to buy more businesses, either around here or elsewhere in the UK. We're going to consolidate our position as the number one motor group in the UK.
Well, that's very exciting to hear. Brilliant, guys. So it would be remiss of me sitting here in the work and play environment of Malmaison. I know you guys are a corporate client of Malmaison. Can I ask you, there's lots of hotels in Manchester, new hotels all the time. Why you choose to put your business here?
Look, a big reason is that they look after us in terms of knowing us as customers. So they know our names. It feels like a bit like coming home. It's a bit cliched, right, but it feels a bit like that. It's helpful that it's really close to Piccadilly, so we can walk to or from Piccadilly very easily. I think outside of that, the staff are very consistent. You know, it's for a big corporate chain.
Right.
You know, we know a lot of these people like friends because they stay here, and you know they seem to have very good retention of good people.
Have you used this new space, the workplace space?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we've used it for a few meetings.
Ad hoc meetings.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite funny that whilst they were building this new space, they actually gave us room 508. I remember it's etched on my memory to do some filming for one of our corporate videos. And I have to say, it's one of the most bizarre experiences I've had to have 4 middle-aged men filming in a bedroom with a double bed.
We've all been there.
Maybe you have.
Speak for yourself.
It's a joke for the camera.
I think there was one thing that I would have said about this place that does genuinely stand out from everywhere else, is that when I stayed in hotels, I had never eaten in a restaurant because it's boring. It's like a cafe, you know.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But I would actually, if I was staying in the hotel across the road, I would come here for a meal.
Yeah.
And that's unusual.
Yeah, the food is
very
good.
unusual.
The steaks are fantastic.
They're absolutely, yeah.
I did a whole video on the steaks. They are
Yeah.
amazing. Well, listen, it's fantastic to hear that. I'm delighted that the Manchester success story of over 100 years is still being very positive post-Brexit. We're very excited about it. And I think, if anything, I was going to speak to the viewers. It's check out Lookers. I mean, it's obviously you're engaging with tech, you're doing great stuff, you're acquiring new companies, and you're Manchester-based. What more could we want, right?
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
you.
Brilliant.